morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Chat with Jeannie
Cindy.
and Cindy.
Good morning.
This morning, this is Jeannie's subject. Jeannie, what are we going to talk about today?
So these words came out of my mouth the other day, and I know you find that hard to believe because I just say stuff. But, I realized, Cindy, that all of my adult life, I have been working on myself. I'm a minister, a unity minister. I don't have a church anymore on purpose. But, I went through 2 different seminaries. I've gone through all of this intense, SAGE training, landmark education. I read thousands of books. I am a life coach. And I have dedicated my life to helping others. But also, you can't help anyone until you help yourself. And I was talking with somebody and I said, you know what? I am done with self-improvement. And not only that, I'm done with salads too. And I realize this is hilarious because I have my mother, was about this big, she was, like you could wear her on a charm bracelet. So anyone that was over 115 pounds was fat, so God. And so, I've lived for decades, like eating salads. Why? Because A, they're supposed to make you healthy, and B, you're not supposed to get fat on salads, which is absolute nonsense because you can load up a salad, trust me. But I had a funny story years ago. I was with a friend of mine, and there was a place in Dallas called Super Salad, SOUP, Super Salad. And they had big, you can help yourself to soup and salads and baked potatoes and all of that jazz. Well, they had these little squeeze bottles with the different kinds of salad dressings. And I picked it up and I went, local dressing? I wonder what local dressing is, because it's like, do they make it here in Dallas? And she looked at me, she said, Jeannie, that says low-cal dressing. Oh, well, no wonder I didn't know what it was.
That reminds me of the joke about the woman on her 30th or 40th anniversary. Have you heard that joke? And she comes to her husband and she puts on a robe and she comes and he's sitting in his chair and she says, how about some super sex? And he said, I think I'll take the soup.
I think I'll take a new husband. That's cute. But, my whole point is this. As much as, and I'm not telling people not to work on themselves, okay? That is not the point. But the point is, if you come down to the basis of self-improvement, whatever it is, learning to meditate, going out and walking, mindfulness and all of those, forgiveness. And those are all good things. But what is the goal of all of this? Seriously, the goal.
That is such a good point.
The goal is to be in the now and to be happy.
That's
it.
That is the ultimate goal.
That's it. So I'm such a rebel. And I'm just like, okay, I'm done. I'm going directly. I'm not going to pass go. I'm not going to collect $200 like Monopoly. I'm going straight to the end, which is I'm going to be in the now and I'm going to be happy right now.
Exactly. That works because the past can't do anything about it. The future is a mystery. You never know what to expect. Like this morning, how long did it take us to get on the Zoom? You don't know what to expect. You don't know what life's going to throw at you. So
Dr. Joe Dispenza does this work, and he has a book called Becoming Supernatural. And then he has big weekend workshops about all sorts of things. And people find healings and, they change their lives. But he says, that we get stuck in the known past. We know what has happened in the past. And many times we're stuck there. Okay, we know. And we also go into the predictable future. Well, here's my past and here's what I'm experiencing. And here's what's probably going to happen. It's not not probably going to be good. I'm still going to suffer. I'm still going to have this illness. I'm still going to be poor, whatever it is. And he says that, when you can get past the known past and the predictable future, you go into the gap, which is the pure potentiality where all things that you wish to experience are. So you can stay stuck in the known past. You can stay stuck in the, oh, dear me, the predictable future, or you can step into that center area where all possibilities are available to you. So I have a friend who I had lunch with, and her, she's one of our BNOW women, and we had lunch yesterday in San Antonio, and she's working, doing some teaching, which she doesn't love. I mean, she's a good teacher, but what she really loves is, working. She did work with creative things and events and all of that. And so I was giving her the Dr. Joe outline, and let me see if I can find this. Hold on just a second. Maybe. Well, anyhow, I made it for her. Oh, here it is. Hang on.
This looks
so
like
cover up her name. I'm going to cover up her name. But what he said is, like, if you're looking for a job, you put a J. If you're looking for relationship, you put an R. If you're looking for money, you put an A for abundance, or an M for money, or whatever. And then what you do is you put some lines around it showing that it resides in energy and what we are sending off.
Nice.
So
okay.
On this side, and she and I kind of went over what she loves. And her first thing was, and I said, well, I know this about you. You like short-term projects, because she had told me that. I mean, I didn't make that up. She told me. You like it to listen to others, solve problems, and move on. You don't want to be stuck in these endless things, and you want to be well paid. And then on the other, and so this is job. And so then I wrote down 1 through 5. How does this make you feel? Because I don't know. And I emailed this to her. And he said that what you have to do is to get in and focus on what it is that you want, and spend 10 to 15 minutes a day focused on that, living in that reality. How does that make you feel? Forget about, and she's just like, well, I haven't put my portfolio together. I said, you don't have to. You don't have to. He tells a story about his son who, left corporate America and then surfboarded and surfed all over the world. Then he came back to the States and he, quote unquote, needed to get a job. And he was like, Dad, so he called him and said, hey, Dad, I'm back. And, Dispenza said, oh, here we go. And he said, I'm kind of like short on money. And he said, the dad in me wanted to say, well, let me just spot you some money. He said, but no. He said, he had been telling him before he came back to the States, because he was like, I need to get a job. I need to get a job. And he said, well, what do you want? And he said, I would love to be in a thing. I would love to be able to surf when I want to. I would love to have a team of people. I would love to be able to travel. I would love to feel fulfilled. And then how does that make you feel? And he said, well, spend 5 or 10 minutes a day, because you've got time, or 15 minutes, and focus on that. And he said, okay, I will. So anyhow, I came back to the States and he was like, yeah, I got to get serious. And so he said, I need some money. And he said, this is a wonderful opportunity for you, Jace. He said, and he went, it is. And he went, yeah. He said, now you can put into practice everything that you've been doing. He was like, yeah, whatever. So anyhow, his son went down to Santa Barbara and went into this surf shop. And the top surfboard designer in the world happened to be there. Just happened to be there. And they walked in and they struck up a conversation. He said, for the last year, I've been surfing all over the world. I have an engineering degree. I worked in, big tech, To make a long story endless, this guy hired him. He said, I'm looking for someone to help me. I have designed these surfboards and these rudders and stuff, but I need someone who can test it out and who can put a team together. And he's getting paid to surf. Everything he wanted was that. And that's what I was telling my friend yesterday. She's like, well, I don't have a resume. And I went, you don't need it. What I want you to do is to focus on what it is that you want. And you don't have to do self-improvement. You don't have to make a portfolio. You don't have to go out there and compete. Put it out there to the universe and let God show off. And
That's exactly right. You know, it's so funny. I was invited to do a self-improvement thing with a gal here. Actually, we interviewed her.
Okay, yeah.
On the BNOW, Alicia. And she has a nice little thing that she does. She likes to help women who are in menopause and with all the hormonal changes and everything, how to stay in shape and stay intact and keep your attitude, you know, positive, all of that. That's her whole niche, right? And so she put out this questionnaire, like, what is your dream? You know, do you think you can have it? Do you think you can get it? And I was looking at that and I said, I'm there. I'm exactly, because I started my Pearl project in 2010, 11, and the book was finished and published in 2012. Now we're at 223. That's how long it's taken. 11 years of me pushing this thing up a mountain, going burr, burr, burr. I'm at the top of the mountain right now and allowing the universe. I'm staying out of my lane. That's what you have to do. You get out of God's way. That's how the Jose Cuervo song became Song of the Year. I got out of the way. I did everything I can. But when you let God take over, I mean,
I know.
it literally will move mountains. Exactly.
And we have to give up these thoughts in our head.
Yes.
Well, I have to do this and I have to do that. And I need one more course and I need one more certification. And, you know, I posted something that someone had posted on Facebook the other day. And it was her experience. She went to a public speaking workshop. Guy said, how many people here believe that you have a gift and you would like to make money from that gift? A whole bunch of hands went up. He went, okay. How many people here have a skill that you would like to make money using that skill? So a lot of the same hands went up. And he said, well, I'm going to tell you something. As long as you think it's just a gift, you will never make money on it because it was freely given to you and you're not going to be allowed in your mind to charge for it. But if you take that gift and you hone your skills with that, and I realize I've been honing my skills for 30 years and, you know, I have skills and it's like, once you do that, then you get quiet and let it show up. And what showed up for her was, you know, she was like, oh no, I'm going to use my gift. And she kept being contacted by someone saying, you know, you have this and you have this background in real estate and like teaching people how to do this, you know, no, I'm just too, you know, whatever. And finally she went, oh my God, you know, God is like knocking on my door. Hello. And now all of a sudden she's able to do what she wants. And, you know, and she's using her skills and her gifts.
It's important, Jeannie, that I remember somebody one time said money is energy. And I went, boom, boom, boom. Wait a second. So how many times when you put out energy, you need to have energy coming back.
That's right.
Right? So it's perfectly fine because it's just energy. It's your life's work. It's your purpose in life. It's what you do. And we are meant to have abundance. Every single human being on this earth deserves and is really entitled to the gifts of the earth. And it's all energy. The farmer, they don't just throw seeds out there. They take care of the land, you know. So it's energy, it's energy, it's energy. And you're exactly right. There's a desperate imbalance when you're not compensated for your gifts.
Well, there is just, there's a book that even gurus have bills to pay and, all kinds of stuff like that. But, and like, oh, well, I didn't want to do it just for money. No, but you should get paid. I mean, I like the people at our grocery store. They don't give me free groceries.
So somewhere along the line, I'm glad you brought that up. Somewhere along the line, where did we learn that money was bad or making money was bad?
Well, that came from the church.
Yes, that last penny. Who gave more? The millionaire that had several million and gave $1 million, or the woman who gave her last coin?
Right.
Who gave more?
Well, and the whole thing is, and of course, I've studied a lot of this too, but about, we have these songs like Christmas, oh, poor little Jesus boy, he was made to be born in a manger, and poor little whatever. Let me tell you something. He was not poor. His parents were in Bethlehem because they were landowners and they were paying their taxes. They just didn't have hotels.com. Right. And the last minute, he decided to take Mary because she was getting ready to deliver this child. They couldn't find any place to stay. When Jesus was being crucified, he had the most expensive robes. He had seamless robes. It was one piece of cloth. It wasn't sewn together. Right. It was so expensive that the centurions were gambling to see who would get them. Okay. So it's all nonsense. And so what I'm saying is like, I'm done with like trying to improve myself. I know this stuff. And when do I step out on faith and go, I don't need any more self-improvement? It's the same thing with salads. It's like, it's funny because our friend yesterday at the end, I ordered us some little tiny lemon cookies, and I didn't eat. I ate one and sent the rest home. I'm not much of a sweets eater, but she was like, and coffee, and we'd already had a glass of wine. And so she said, the next time we come here, we're going to have dessert and coffee first, and then we're going to go do some shopping. Then we're going to come back and eat. And I was like, I'm there. Because all the women on the Titanic were really pissed off that they didn't have dessert. It's like, I could have had that too.
Getting back to Jesus, that understanding, who honestly is going to listen to somebody who is in rags and under a bridge? Right?
That's right.
He had thousands and thousands of people that wanted to hear his words. And he had to have some kind of esteem or respect in that town for people to want to go see him and hear him.
And to provide for their needs, the loaves and the fishes, turning the water into wine. Provided for them.
Exactly.
You can do this too.
Exactly. So you can be like me. Well, who would want to be if he was a pauper? What would that mean? Right? You can have this as well. And I think the thing that people don't do, but when they do it, it's amazing how it comes to you. They don't understand their value. And that humbling kind of thing, it makes you a good person. A humble person is a good person. Wonder if you said, I am good at this and this and this, and I can help you. If we partner together, I will be an asset to you. And in exchange.
A template, and it was funny just because we could go on forever and we need to wrap this up. But when our little waiter came over, and there's like lunch menus, and you can have like a soup, you can have a salad, you can have this, you can have half a sandwich. Right. And so he was like, would you like a salad? And I went, no, I don't eat salads anymore. And, and I'm not dissing anybody, but the reality is I'm done with salads. I don't love them, and I'm just not going to eat them. And guess what? In the meantime, in the past 7 months, I've lost 23 pounds. Why? Because, well, first of all, it's because we're taking glutathione, the Numi, just part of it. But the other part is, Cindy, in my head, when I ate a salad, it was like, well, I need to eat this to be healthy and to stay thin. Well, that's what the universe and what the God mind sees. Okay, look what Jeannie's thinking. Let's give her more of that. So I'm not telling anyone, what to eat, what not to eat. I don't care what you do.
Right.
But it occurred to me that anytime I have a resistance, like I have to do this and I have to have one more course and I have to have one more certification. No, how about just get out there? And she told a story, my friend, that I was telling you about this other story. She posted that she knew a guy and he was a great massage therapist and he hadn't been doing anything and he couldn't find a place. And she said, why don't you go to the nursing home and just do free massages, shoulder and neck and stuff like that. And he was like, well, that's stupid. And she went, well, you're not doing anything anyhow. Well, okay. So he went over and he started giving these, neck and shoulder massages and other things. And the people who were visiting their relatives and friends in the nursing home, they started saying, well, I need a massage. Well, guess what? All of a sudden he's making money and the nursing home hired him full time to be, so you do what you do. Yeah. You don't need anything except to use what you already have, your heart, and do it. So I encourage you, whoever's listening, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for it? Well, I just need one more thing and I need someone to do that. No, you don't need anything. You need to make up your mind what works for you. And I can't tell you how free I have been since I decided no more self-improvement and no more salads. Yay!
Weren't you the person that told me that Jesus wouldn't do anything unless he was asked to do it? Remember that?
That's right. Yeah. He didn't just go and indiscriminately heal. And a friend of mine jokingly said that when he raised Lazarus from the dead and he went to the sepulchres, he had to call him by name. Otherwise, everyone would have jumped up out of the graves.
No, he was always
either waited to be asked, or he would ask them, would you be healed?
So if you want something, for heaven's sake, ask for it. Mm-hmm. Because there are, and ignore the no's. A no just means not that person, not that person. No, I told my son one time he wanted some red licorice. He wanted me to pick him up some at Sam's when I went. And I said, okay, Nat, I'll get that for you. Well, we live 30 minutes from Sam's and while I was getting ready, are we going to get the red licorice? He asked me 20 times. I said, you ask me one more time and the answer will be no. Right now you have a yes, but your answer will be no. So he says, gee, couldn't stand it. He goes, I'm sure glad you're not one of those moms that say they're going to do something and then they don't do it, right? And I thought that was so clever. I looked at him, I said, don't you ever take no for an answer. Ever. I said, because no means you're talking to the wrong person or not now. That's all it means.
But don't question me. If I say I'm going to do something and you keep asking, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? The answer is like, no.
Exactly. Learn from this too, because you've got your yes. When you've got your yes, shut up.
Go with it.
You've got it.
I love our conversation, Cindy, and I do invite people, share this with others, subscribe to our channel, hit the notifications bell, go to beautifulnetworkofwomen.com. We are doing a fabulous cruise in the Caribbean. You're going to want this. It's after summer and it's before the holidays, so it's in October.
You deserve it. You so deserve it. I went last October and I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. That's when I got back. I said, Jeannie, we got to do this for BNOW.
Sign up. Yes. We've got until the 1st of June to sign up. So it's beautifulnetworkofwomen.com. Also look for Cindy Jordan's musical Pearl that is coming up at the end of June and the beginning of July. Cindy, I love you so much and I love our talks.
I'll see you next Monday.
Well.